talk about graffiti being auctioned right here in New York City. We're going to preview some artwork up for grabs at the first ever graffiti auction. Welcome back at 5:45. It will be an art auction unlike any other. An auction of graffiti art soon to be taking place at Guernsey's auction house here in New York City. And right now, Guernsey's president, Arlen Ettinger, joins us to tell us all about it. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
How do you go from the ghetto to Guernsey's? Because that's what we're talking about here when we say graffiti art. Why?
Back around 1969, the art movement, the graffiti art movement, started on the urban walls and tunnels of New York City, but it evolved over these 30 years into galleries and substantial museums around the world. Millions and millions of people idolize the kids that started in their teens who are now mature and wonderful artists in many cases, and yet there's never been an auction of this material.
This stuff was said to be an eyesore, yet you've got 400 some odd pieces. You're expecting to auction them all off next week. What kind of money do you expect to bring in?
It's hard to say. Most of the things have very little precedent because there hasn't been an auction. So although we may estimate particular works at $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, anything goes. It's a real auction. Okay, anything goes. I want you to give me an idea what it takes to judge the quality or what makes a piece better than the others. Let's start with some of the pieces you brought along here. This would be Taki 183, right? Significant simply because Taki was the man who started it all. His name appeared in 1969 everywhere, and this little remnant, this real artifact, is significant because it's one of the only things that remain.
What is that? On the side of what? A piece of metal?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, I mean, you see the stuff on the walls and so forth. What kind of money do you expect to see this one starting out to bring in?
That could bring $10,000 because it's really a historic piece in the world of graffiti.
What becomes of the proceeds?
Goes to the artists in most cases.
Okay.
But there is a big benefit for the Bronx Museum of the Arts on the evening of the 13th, all at the Puck Building.
All right, and that's all next week. This next piece right here is an interesting one. We see skyline and some other themes of the city.
This was done by Duro one of the legendary graffiti artists, as is this work here.
Let me lift it up so the folks can see. What's the I guess the take on this in terms of quality and what we're looking at?
Well, this is a sale that has work of all different sizes, all different descriptions. Some canvases as large as 30 feet. But you can see the beginnings of graffiti, how they've evolved into a more mature canvas here.
I mean, from the side of the subway train to a canvas to Guernsey's, that's quite a trip.
Well, look at the technique involved in this work by Stan 153. Really perfected the art of using the spray can.
Now, that would be the guy's nickname who did this?
This is their tag, the name that they go by. Each one is a colorful figure who uses a name that he's become known by on the streets and now in museums around the world.
Any idea what this piece is saying or what the gist of this one is, what the message is from the artist? Not necessarily.
You got me on that one.
I mean, these are pretty colors. You see them along the sides of the subway, and you wonder what they're saying. Often the artist is marking territory or saying, look, this is my neighborhood.
But you see work like this now, wonderful homes. In Architectural Digest last month, there was a feature on Elton John's home, and right on his walls was graffiti art.
Wow, okay. And finally here, this piece by Jean-Michel Basquiat.
Perhaps he, along with Keith Haring, one of the two most well-known graffiti artists of all time. A very simple work, done in pencil, but very symbolic, very typical of what he did, and therefore quite valuable.
We see a car and a plane.
Yeah.
What's the theme here? Do we know?
We don't, but this was a constant theme with Basquiat's work. Sadly, he, along with certain other key people in the field, have passed away at early ages, but this remains from him and would be sought after, I think.
Yeah, likely increasing its value. Arlen Ettinger, thank you so much for coming. And we should tell folks that the auction takes place next week, the 14th and 15th, at the Puck Building in Lower Manhattan. We're going to take a break. We're going to talk sports, including a little basketball game that played last night. We'll be right back.